Welcome to Chasing Baseball's Immortals, where I explore the career of every 20th century Hall of Famer while collecting one of their original Playing Days cards. Today we're taking a closer look at Mordecai Three-Finger Brown, a pitcher whose story, style, and legacy stands out more than a century later. Let's get started. Mordecai Peter Brown was born October 19, 1876, in a small farming community in Niceville, Indiana, a rural mining region where kids grew up working as soon as they were strong enough to lift a shovel. Brown attended local country schools, but like many boys of his era, his education was brief. By his early teens, he was working full-time in farms and in the coal mines to help support his family. It was during those years that Brown suffered a pair of accidents that reshaped his life. First, a corn shredder mangled his right hand, costing him parts of two fingers. Later, he broke the same hand in a fall, leaving it permanently twisted. What should have ended any chance at baseball instead gave him a natural grip that produced one of the most devastating curveballs the game had ever seen. Brown didn't reach the majors until age 28, but once he arrived, he became the anchor of the Chicago Cubs dynasty. From 1906 to 1911, he was nearly unhittable, posting a 1.42 ERA across 6 seasons. His 1906 campaign of 26-6 with a 1.04 ERA remains one of the game's greatest pitching seasons. Brown's sweeping late-breaking curve baffled hitters, and his calm, methodical style made him a force in pressure moments. He helped lead the Cubs to 4 pennants and 2 World Series titles, and his duels with Christy Mathewson became defining chapters of the dead ball era. After his major league career wound down, Brown stayed close to the game. He managed and pitched in the minors, ran a semi-pro team, and later operated a gas station in Indiana, where fans would stop to talk baseball with him. Even in retirement, he remained a beloved figure and a reminder of an era when ingenuity mattered as much as raw power. Brown died February 14, 1948, at the age of 71. The following year, in 1949, he was elected to the Baseball Hall of Fame, a fitting tribute to a pitcher who turned a childhood injury into a Hall of Fame advantage. Brown's legacy endures as one of baseball's greatest stories of resilience, a man who transformed adversity into a pitch no one could touch, and in doing so, carved out a permanent place among the game's legends. Now we'll look at him through the lens of historical and modern comparison. Brown was one of the most efficient pitchers in baseball history, a right-hander who dominated the dead ball era with movement, command, and a 2.06 ERA that translated to a remarkable 138 ERA+. He won nearly 2/3 of his decisions and anchored the Cubs' early dynasty. Hal Newhouser is the closest mid-century parallel. Pitching in a far more offensive environment, he still posted a 130 ERA+ in nearly 3,000 innings of elite run prevention. His 207 wins and back-to-back MVP seasons mirror Brown's ability to rise above his era and carry a staff through long stretches of contention. And in the modern game, Kevin Brown is the best statistical and stylistic match. His 127 ERA+, 211 wins, and more than 3,200 innings placed him right in Brown's value tier. But it's the style that really connects them. A heavy moving pitch, weak contact, and a level of efficiency that cut through the high-level offenses of the 90s, the same way Brown carved through the dead ball era. 3 pitches, 3 errors, 1 blueprint: command, movement, and elite run prevention that holds up no matter when you pitch. The T205 Gold Border set came out in 1911, immediately following the iconic T206 set. It was distributed inside American Tobacco Company cigarette packs. Each card featured a bright gold border and detailed artwork that immediately set it apart. It was the first baseball issue to include a bio and player stats on the back. The full checklist includes 208 cards and was printed in 11 different tobacco backs, including Piedmont, Sweet Capital, Sovereign, Hassan, and Polar Bear. At the center of the set are 4 major Hall of Famers: Ty Cobb, Walter Johnson, Christy Mathewson, and Cy Young, whose portraits remain some of the most recognizable images of the pre-war era. American League cards used a baseball diamond design, while National League cards featured simple backgrounds and a facsimile signature, giving the set 2 distinct looks. With its gold borders, multiple backs, and star power, the T205 set stands as one of the most memorable and collectible tobacco issues. The T205 Mordecai Brown card is one of the key Hall of Famers in the set, featuring the classic National League design with a clean portrait, gold borders, and a short bio with stats on the back. Because the borders chip easily, eye appeal drives the market. Lower grade copies typically sell for $150 to $300, while strong mid-grade examples can reach $600 to $1,200, especially when the centering and coloring are sharp. As one of the era's great pictures, Brown's T205 remains a cornerstone pre-war car, visually appealing, historically important, and one of the more accessible Hall of Famer issues of the tobacco era. All right, let's look at the card. Here's my example of the T205 Mordecai Brown. I wanted this card just because it's got a great image, it's great color. Actually, the gold borders are starting to really grow on me, and the T205 set's really grown on me. I think it's significantly overshadowed by the T206, and I would say there's a lot of cards within the T205 that have actual better images than the T206. Particularly, this is a good one, although his portrait in T205 is a nice looking card. But the Mathewson card in this set is much better than what I think for his T206. But this is just an underappreciated set because it's just being overshadowed by the T206. But this example, what I was looking for, I wanted a nice color. I wanted it to be centered for the most part. This has obviously got rounded corners. There's a slight crease at the top. But overall, presents really well. The back is well centered. Not a lot of staining, no paper loss. Just a nice looking example. This is a PSA 1.5. I believe it was $275. I got this within the last year. Can't remember where I got it from, but I remember generally the price that I paid for it. And I was willing to pay that. I think it was a little bit on the higher end at the time, but given how these are starting to increase in price, I think I did good by getting one when I did. But that concludes my Mordecai Brown run. Now let's check out some of Mordecai Brown's other cards. With a career that spanned from 1903 to 1916, his cardboard catalog spans the heart of the tobacco era and the rise of the early caramel and confectionery issues, a period filled with some of the most iconic designs in the hobby. First up is his 1909 Ramley. The Ramley set is arguably the most elegant pre-war set ever produced. The ornate, gold-framed design, crisp photography, and intricate detailing make it to stand out in any collection. High-grade examples are extremely tough due to the delicate borders and thin stock. Even low-grade examples can cost over $1,000, while strong mid-grade examples often push $5,000 or more. It's Brown's most premium early issue card. Next up is the T206 Portrait. Brown's T206 Portrait is his most recognizable card, a clean, colorful lithograph that captures him at the height of the Cubs dynasty. Like all T206s, it comes with a wide range of tobacco backs, from common Piedmont and Sweet Capital to tougher brands like Sovereign and Cycle. Lower grade copies usually fall in the $300 to $500 range, while mid-grade examples can reach $1,000 to $2,000 depending on centering and coloring. It's the cornerstone Brown card for most collectors. Finally, the 1914-1915 Cracker Jack. The Cracker Jack issue is an iconic, visually appealing card printed on thin caramel stained stock, making clean copies incredibly scarce. The bold red background and sharp artwork give it a classic 20th century look. Surviving examples are almost always stained and worn. Prices typically start around $750 to $1,000 in low grade and can climb well past $2,000 for nicer copies. As an early Hall of Famer whose career set squarely in the golden age of tobacco and caramel cards, Brown has a surprisingly deep and visually rich run of issues. And while some of his premium cards can get kind of pricey, collectors can still build a meaningful Brown collection across multiple iconic sets without breaking the bank. All right, if you made it this far, thanks for watching. On deck, I'll be exploring the career of Lefty Grove and his card in the 1935 Diamond Star set. See you then.